MovieWeb.com.
You have Charlie and Mick who are talking about this French deconstructionalist, if I'm saying that correctly. And I'm wondering, looking at the end of this film, if your conceit with this project was to take like the Matt Dillon character and say My Bodyguard and sort of take that bully character and deconstruct him and like sort of change up the archetype where we can actually see into his life and what he's more about. Is that kind of the angle you were going with this?
Believe it or not, I mentioned these guys in pre-production, like My Bodyguard with Matt Dillon is a big influence on me. And in Matt Dillon's character, there is a huge inspiration to me for how I saw Mick before I knew who Mick was going to be, before I knew it was going to be Jason Ritter. And I always wanted to, because you can see Matt Dillon's character in My Bodyguard, there's something there, but he can't help it. And you want to get further and you want to understand and break it down and just realize why this guy's being this way, because it's almost like he can't help it, you know, it's just who he is, and there's this misunderstanding, and he's doing this in his life because there's reasons. It's probably his background, his childhood, and different things, and that is one of the inspirations. Bizarre you said that, because that is...
Well, I just remember the part where he's punching himself in the head and he's got the tank top on, and right above the TV we have like this painting from My Bodyguard when I was watching the screener. So I was like, oh, wow. This totally reminds me of that film.
Yeah, that's one of my favorite coming-of-age films there. I love that movie a lot. And I'm very inspired by that, but I just can't believe you even referenced that. That's very weird.
Well, that's why I wanted to get it right, because you were talking about deconstructionalism in the film, and as I was watching this, is one of the things about this movie that struck me so was that it is not predictable in the least bit, and every time I thought it was going to go one direction, it went the other. And I'm wondering, was that always in the script that way, or did you sort of take the script and sort of change it up from what you saw and what you were expecting as you read?
No, we got it all on the page. I mean, we worked for months and months on the script to get it to where the story I wanted to tell and the story that the writer Peter Elkoff, was still protecting and keeping intact from, because this is close to true to life experience for the writer. This movie, and Mick Leary's character is very similar to someone very real in his life, and for me, we got it on the page very, very closely to the way it went down, and what these brilliant actors brought to the plate was all the in between, and even like the scene when Jason's Mick's, he's confused and he's disoriented and he's punching himself in the head to to get himself to that place because he's confused, because this is Charlie and this is, this whole thing. That was Jason, Jason brought that to the plate, where you're just going, that wasn't on the page, that wasn't there, and that wasn't a direction from me. That was something in the moment that an actor was in this character and brought to life. And so how the script plays is very close to how we ended up on the final page. I learned a lesson from my mentors is you never go make a movie unless it's right on the page first. So the movie we made is the movie the script that we had. I mean, so it's very, very, very close. All the in-between and nuances and little things like Jason punching himself in the head, that's him in the moment. There's a real things that he brought to the character. And so yeah, I would say that in the moment, on the day, everything changes on the day. That's the thing you learn. On the day you're actually shooting a scene, as prepared as you can be, reality has to come into play. There's real people here and real weather and real things and actors and different moods and all these different things. So how it all comes together to create these moments is just such a beautiful thing, and how a movie ever gets finished and put out, it's a miracle, it seems like. So on the day you're not ready, so my job is just to be there on the day and then direct what we're doing, and kind of hoping this gym fits in the box with the other gyms from yesterday and the other gyms from yesterday, and hope they all kind of go together in the same gym box, without, and taking the ones that don't fit in the box out and going, well, we need a few more because we don't have enough to fill the box. And it's a very interesting concept, and I don't know if that metaphor is really, really substantial, but we're very close to the script that we finalized, and the rest is sort of magic, I guess.
you're so like just instantly likable in person and in film and the other projects I've seen. Was it sort of like cool for you to take on this character because you get to bring like a certain edge that the audience isn't really expecting to see out of you at this point?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I was excited and terrified. You know, I mean, I didn't think that anyone would give me this part. And you know, when I met with Fred and we started talking about it, he saw me and this character in the same way that I saw me in this character. And a lot of times, casting directors or directors will only see what you've done before, or only see what you are like in person, and they want that. They think that that's the only way to be authentic, is to be exactly who you are sitting there right now. And so one of the things that I liked about Fred is that I didn't have to go into the dinner saying, hey, I'm this tough guy, and try to trick him into thinking that that's who I really was. He was able to understand that I had enough of an understanding of the character that we could go there together and figure it out. And it was a lot of fun, and he put a lot of trust into me by giving me this role, and I'm really grateful for that.
And it worked in making it more an approachable character for the audience too, to kind of accept it more.
That's right.
Absolutely.
Violence is coming from this guy. Yeah.
Absolutely, and he's supposed to basically blend in with the college group at a certain point. And if you don't know what he's capable of, you're supposed to be able to buy him as this guy. And I think one of the ways that I think a lot of people might have cast this is just put like a scarred up, shaved head, you know, guy that would look ridiculous in like a cardigan, and people would go, who's that thug at our school? As opposed to, could this guy have been someone else if he had had a different upbringing? Or
yeah, without him being likable, he would have never been able to be the king of the streets when he was younger. There had to be this certain charisma and this likable element to him. Not only the menace, and you don't mess with this guy, but he has to have a way with people, and he's, you know, it's that guy. You know, he's been that guy since he was a kid. He's like the king of the streets in a tough part of town. And everybody knew this guy, but they were scared of him too, because you don't mess around with him. You don't disrespect him. You don't disrespect his friends. And that likability comes into play as he's older, and when he shows up at the college, I mean, you can't help but to kind of like him. You know, there's something about him, you know, and he's not the same as everyone they surrounded themselves with in that group, but you know what, he is kind of likable, and you know, the girls like him, and he's got this way about him, and Charlie starts to, even though what Charlie's experienced in his past and being scared of him, not knowing if he's there to kick his ass and get revenge, he starts to like him too, and he starts to even feel like he's got to protect Mick in a way. You know, Mick's vulnerable, and there's this way, but inevitably that menacing side and that thing in Mick comes out, and that's the scariest part of the movie, the most suspenseful part to me, because you like him, you go, something's going to happen here in a second, yeah. You know, when's it going to happen? And every time I wanted to set it up to where you think it was going to, I was making sure it didn't happen. You know, so, he's gonna, he didn't do it. Wow, maybe there's something happening, he's changing a little. So inevitably he's gonna have to unravel at some point, or we wouldn't have a movie.
The education of Charlie Banks.
You made a license for you, Charlie! Shut up!